What's going on, everybody? This is Super Robot Ed, and we have the last two pieces of Devastator, our SS86 Devastator, in the form of Studio Series 86 MIXMASTER and Studio Series 86 SCAVENGER. Now, these are the last of the waves with the original, starting out with, of course, the Scrapper and Bone Crusher, basically much in the same wave. The next wave for the SS86 Constructicons was Hook and Long Haul, and then finally MIXMASTER and SCAVENGER. Now, on the boxes and packages, they say 4 of 5 and 5 of 5. And let's be clear, that is incorrect. There are 6 members of the team. Do not hand me the crap about, well, they picked 2 people in one box. It's still 2 people. Okay? So it's 6 people. It's weird how they went with 5. And on the original packaging, they had 1 of 6 and 2 of 6. So miss me with that, please, Hasbro apologists and shills. Now let's move on with the video. So the reason why we're starting in robot mode today is because you will see them in the beginning of the video in robot mode, and you will see them at the end of the video in robot mode, as of course we always like to do our final thoughts. But in the meantime, we're going to look over the packaging of each. Now, one is a Voyager and one is a Deluxe, but they both are pretty much the same size. And the reason that they are these sizes is due to the fact that he's a leg and he's supposed to have more plastic, and he's an arm. He doesn't need that much plastic. I guess that's the only reason I could think of, so forgive me, I don't know anything else. But let's look at your packaging first. Move them out the way. And of course, we'll start with the letter M in alphabetical order. Here's MIXMASTER with him on the front. There's that cool, everybody loves this vehicle mode. I don't care what nobody says. There he is, packaging, it's got the, the window, and on the side, there's him again with he's an Autobot, y'all. He's an Autobot. Anyway. On the back, he's 15 steps to transform. There's a picture of Devastator picking up, I guess that's a slag. Yeah, sludge. He's getting ready to throw him a slag. Slag gonna do that maneuver. And of course, you see Devastator on the side here. And then, of course, we're gonna look at the next packaging here. Now, why is my light box being such a jerk today? I don't know why. This has been one of those days today where I should have just not do any reviews. I'll talk about that in another video. Today we're going to talk about this video. I know we're not editing that out either. All right, so it's got to be right. So, all right, we're going to look at the packaging because we're done with MIXMASTER. Next, we're going to look at the packaging for SCAVENGER. Smaller packaging, of course, because he's in a smaller box. And because he's a deluxe, and here he is. He's also 15 steps to transform. On the side, it's more of an Autobot symbol. On the back, it's SCAVENGER. There he is in his robot mode. There he is on this side. So first things first, let's go over both robots here and go over their articulation. And we'll start with the letter M. This is MIXMASTER. Now, he does have nice quality feeling plastic, I will say that. No waist swivel, kind of a shame, because we'll talk about that also when we do our comparisons with other figures here. But basically, yeah, it's kind of like, he's got the same articulation. Leg goes out to here, leg goes out there, leg goes out there. Arm does this. Has a little bit of a turn here. And then also he does have the L. No, it just doesn't go any higher than that. The fists don't do anything else, but there's a screw there for some reason. The head does turn, but it's very hard to do within the cavity here, but you can see that. And we'll get a good peek of the head sculpt there. And of course, he's very MIXMASTER. No weapons to launch off at the top of his part there, like the original. No waist swivel, of course. Leg goes back to here, of course. Yeah, from the back, he's pretty decent. I mean, even without the waist swivel, it's tough not to have a waist swivel, but hey, it is what it is. But he comes with his gun, of course. Now, the original Combiner Wars did not come with the individual weapons. You would have had to get the Unite Warriors version for that. But here we go here anyway, and there he goes. And now, of course, we're going to see if he can do Jean-Claude Van Damme. And let's see if he can Jean-Claude Van Damme. So far, they can't Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right, let's go with the next one over here. This is SCAVENGER. Now, SCAVENGER, of course, is a little bit chunky, but I actually like his look. Though his diaper is not that bad, and I don't have it all the way pulled down. It's still not as bad as maybe Soundwave, Titanium Soundwave. That's diaper crotch a year. But as you can see here, I mean, he's still pretty decent. At least his, stuff fixed on the back. You know, of course, again, no waist swivel due to that there too. But he does have the normal leg. You know, he's got short, stubby legs. So I'm sure DNA is going to give us some stuff. You know, he does. Of course, he has feet swivel, and I did mention that MIXMASTER does have feet swivel as well. I forgot. He does. You know, his feet does swivel. On the feet does swivel. It's a little tough, and I had to actually tighten the joints. He comes in very loose, and I hated that. The arms, of course, rotate through 360. He's got an elbow. You know, he's got the elbow. Of course, let's look at his head sculpt. So I always had that mechanical looking face there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there we go. There we go. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way. And of course, can he Jean-Claude Van Damme? The answer to the question is he can. He's on his crotch. And like I said, I tightened this up with Kiki and some other stuff I use because I do not like this looseness. But yeah, he can Jean-Claude Van Damme. So what we're going to do next is we're going to compare him to two of the Make Toys parts as well. And then from there, we're just going to go ahead and get them into their vehicle modes to prepare them for limb mode. And then, of course, we'll go over the final thoughts for each of these. And of course, as always, we'll be back in 22 seconds. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic, and we now have MIXMASTER and SCAVENGER once again still in their robot modes, along with now the Make Toys versions of their counterparts, not MIXMASTER and not SCAVENGER. So, of course, we're going to start in alphabetical order. Let's move these two out the way. And let's go ahead and begin. So it's not too much of a comparison. Both kind of do very similar to the other. I just don't know where the weapons are. I guess they have weapons. Oh, yeah, that's right. The gun is the weapon side. Yeah. Right. So, anyway. So, this guy here was one of the standouts of the set, in my opinion. He had this like animation head that I liked a lot. If you can see it right there, it's got that anime, sort of like an anime head. Let's see if we can brighten it up a little bit. You can see it right there. And I always thought that was pretty cool, you know, having that there. A different shade of purple, of course. He has more articulation with the arms, can go inward and outward. He had a weird way the feet are compared to, you know, the this guy. This is like, again, more stylized, but he has a waist swivel. And I mean, he has a full 360 waist swivel. There's a locking mechanism that kind of locks him down. You'll have two tabs right there. And of course, when you have to transform him or anything, you just hold them tabs and then the waist will come down. So yeah, that's what this MIXMASTER does. And you cannot push it back in without holding them in, and I hate it because you kind of have to. It's one of those things where there's these, you know, what Hasbro has over these is the simplicity as well as the look, where these have a more stylized look. But he does have a little more articulation due to the joints there, and you know, he does do that. You know, he's got that. Like I say, he's got a waist swivel. Head can kind of swivel, but it's very hard to do. And of course, the legs go out here. He's got the feet swivel. He can also Jean-Claude. No, he can't Jean-Claude without some weird finagling. Maybe you could do like a, you know, like he's about to be like, well, you can kind of do that. He just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work well. But you get my drift. For the day of the time that these toys were released, they were pinnacle because how many Constructicon figures did you have that, you know, were Constructicons and not something else, not Constructicons, like a lot of people would use, like the Energon Superlink combiners. And, you know, you could get away with the Bruticus and the Diverse Superior, but the Constructicon Maximus had 5 people and they suffered, you know, a weird fate. So, yeah, there was never really any real G1 Devastator until we got to Combiner Wars. So let that sink in. We're going to take these two out the way so they don't have to share the room. And then after that, we're going to show off the Scavenger and not Scavenger. Now, I'm going to say I prefer Scavenger. Now this one, the Make Toys one is not so much it's a take. The legs are actually from the RID Constructicon combiners, the way that they are. they're not taken, but they are. This is pretty much them with a few stylized takes. But of course, very similar. He has very similar articulation due to the transformation. He also wears this on the side of his arm, which I thought was pretty cool. Again, these are very stylized for the day, compared to their counterparts. But as I stated before, if I had a choice, it's definitely going to be the SS86. It's a thing. I mean, I know some of y'all, like I say, y'all getting y'all feelings sometimes, ready to fight people, ready to jump on people. But yeah, this is pretty much it. This one is better. So when we come back, we'll get them in the vehicle mode, show them off. And then after that, we will wrap up the review. As always, we'll be back in 2 and 2. All right, we're back by YouTube Magic, and we have MIXMASTER and SCAVENGER in their vehicle modes. Let's go with the least favorite vehicle, which is SCAVENGER this time. So he's very simple. Okay, don't roll just yet. Don't roll, just stay where you at. I had to clean that up. But he doesn't really do much. He just has the little excavation here, all right, you know what I'm saying? That's what he's gonna do. But he ain't got no wheels. He just look like an excavator, put the little gun on the side, you know what I'm saying? Wish they had a little drill weapon, but we ain't get one. And of course, the favorite vehicle here is the MIXMASTER in his nice concrete mixer mode. And yeah, he looks exactly like the cartoon. There is a Decepticon symbol on him. I thought yeah, right there in the middle. So they all have the little Decepticon logo, exception of Scrapper. Why y'all do that to Scrapper, man? And look at that, he got his little Decepticon symbol right there on the top. Now that we've done seen that, we're going to show them off against their counterparts here. And let's bring in the other MIXMASTER. And this is the Make Toys version. Now, I never know if I ever got this 100% correct, because there's, again, that same mechanism where it's, you can slide in and out. So it just kind of feels like the vehicle mode is not quite joined together. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did like the vehicle mode on him. I thought it was just as good. If this was purple though, yeah, this would be a nice vehicle, but it's just that look. And I think MIXMASTER does it better. The Hasbro version does it better in some ways, but don't get me wrong now. I don't sleep on this one, man. I don't sleep on this. It's good quality. It's good stuff, man. This is just a little bit heavy. It's actually heavier too, by the way. It feels denser. Both of them feel nice. It's a little more density. So we're going to put them to the side because I know I had SCAVENGER in the way. Now we're going to show off the SCAVENGERs here. And of course, here is the Make Toy SCAVENGER. Not much difference. He's still an excavator. I mean, it's not like it's, at least it's got different paint apps, more or less. But he ain't doing no more. He ain't turning. He ain't doing none of that. He's going just like that. As far as which one I like, I mean, either one could do. This is just more of what he looks like in the cartoon, I think, more than this one does. But I mean, they're both excavators, so they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? Excavate. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go ahead and put them together here. We'll put the excavators over here to the right, and we'll put the other vehicles here to the left so you can get a grandiose shot of the vehicle modes. And then we're going to show them off in limb modes. And then, like I said, we're going to wrap up and give the final thoughts. And always, we'll be back in 2. All right, we're back by YouTube Match. We have both MIXMASTERs in their leg modes. Let's start with the Hasbro official. So once you get him in leg mode, he's pretty much going to look like this. Almost looks like a forklift, doesn't it? Well, that's because you want to keep these out. Or you can put these down if you want. But if you decide to do the ankle tilt, sometimes it just look kind of weird. So, just give it that. I wish they had this where you could fold this up a second time. But, we get what we get. But yeah, he can. But he only can go one way. And this is as far as he's going to go. Once you lock the feet in place and you kind of fold everything over, this is what you get. It's still solid. This is a little different as it has a pivot both ways. Now, I don't think you can put one. I think they're leg specific, kind of like the, Studio Series 86. But, He has a little bit more of an ankle tilt, even a little bit more of a turn, of a shimmy, but practically they do the same thing. Now he's a lot cleaner from the back. The arms are nice and they go up in here. So you have all that clearance right there versus with him, you can't really do that and they didn't factor that in. So you got to do this. But, you know, it's not bad. I mean, personally, like I said before, we're going to go into combined mode and my end video will show that off. But that's how they look together. All right, now we're going to show off the arms here. And then we're going to go ahead and do the wrapping up of the video. So we have the arms now. Now this is the, of course, Studio Series 86. And this is the Unite Warriors. Now, Unite Warriors. That means I want Unite Warriors, doesn't it? This is actually the Make Toys. So yeah, Make Toys has very similar feature. This is actually like a caboose weapon, if you, or caboose, whatever it is. You put it somewhere, but that's what it does. It's got nice little ratchets. This only goes one way. Excuse me. As you can see it there. But yeah, it's got decent range, and the gun would fit in his hand right there. And of course, here is the Studio Series 86 version. He's going to pivot here instead of pivoting like he does. Like he can pivot from here directly. He also has where you can kind of like do this number if you want to actually make these look like they're hanging off, but he turns here so the entire arm will turn like this. It's not turn at the treads. So that's just, and I kind of like when you can kind of make it hang off like that. So it's one of the cool features about it, right? And of course here we'll show this off, and here are the two of them together. So there you go. So this is it. We've done the comparisons of both, and we'll just go ahead and get into final thoughts, and we'll be back in 2 and 2. All right, and final thoughts. I have no problems with both figures. I have no problems with Scavenger. I think Scavenger looks still better than Bone Crusher. I know third party is going to give us better articulation for them. As far as Mixmaster does look very solid. Him and Scrapper, for being legs, they did a good job with the solidness of it. Combined mode will probably be a joy. Getting ready to do that video. I haven't decided where I want to do the video for that one at, but I definitely want to do that video. Definitely want to be separate from this one. That's why I didn't really show off the combined mode. I just, showed off, the vehicles and things like that. But yeah, basically, it's going to be a good time. Of course, if you're watching the next video after this, you're going to be like, yeah, he's good. And, yeah, I just think he's great. I think they're both great overall. So having all 6 of them now, doing the Devastator is I'm just happy. I finally completed Devastator. I thought it would be hard. I thought it would be a challenge, but in reality, it wasn't. It was actually very easy to get all 6, no problem. For those that pre-order, I suggest if you are holding on to your pre-orders, just stay with that. If not, you can get these at other places now. They are available. You just have to look. That's what you have to do, y'all. You have to get out there and look, because if you're not, hey, you're going to be stuck with the same figures, and you don't want that. So yeah, that's all I got. They're great. We're going to go on and form Devastator, and you can go ahead. We'll have that video up in a little bit. But yeah, this is what I got for MIXMASTER, SS86 MIXMASTER and Scavenger. They're good. This is Super Robot Ed. Bringing more news reveals to them. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.